It's now time for Gwynn and Chris to rank their top 5 of the day.
Gonna grip and rip as usual.
But this isn't just a regular top 5 list.
I love it. It sounds sadistic, but I love it.
This is The Countdown. And it starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, countdown time on a Friday here on Gwynn and Chris. And, of course, Padres getting ready for Game 2 of 162 tonight against the Atlanta Braves. But yesterday, glorious opening day at Petco Park, and I thought it would be kind of fun. And also, I didn't really have to think too hard to come up with this one like I usually do. Just top 5 moments from opening day, Padres opening day. And I think we all looked at the game probably from a little different perspective. So maybe we came up with some of the same things, but maybe we saw some different things that others didn't see.
Okay.
So here we go. Top 5 things from Padres opening day.
Number 5.
We'll start with the person who's actually at the game, Tony Gwynn Jr. What do you got, Tony, for your number 5 thing you saw on opening day?
Number 5 on my list of things I saw on opening day. I don't know if I was surprised, but I was happy to see it. And that was I guess the word's hope. You know, being stuck in the studio all off season and listen to people complain and be so down on what the off season would look like, come into an opening day thinking, all right, people are like waiting to be mad about something. But it all in all seemed like what was it, 45,000 worth of people that,
how about that?
all were hopeful about the San Diego Padres and what they could do this year. That may have been because it's opening day and everybody feels like that. But I want to believe that, you know, maybe people, I think it's easy to believe actually that sometimes the sentiment on X or in social media is not the actual sentiment of everybody.
Yeah. You should have heard the call-ins to Sam Levitt's postgame show, Tony, if you wanted to hear hopeful.
World Series?
Oh, yeah, we're in.
Well, we are in. You can go to the other way, too, because I had a friend text me saying that it was a little shaky there at the end, but we got it.
Yeah, I know. You had one of those.
That
what do you
sounds
got,
like a San
Scrape?
Diegan right there.
Yeah.
That sounds like
What you got for number 5?
My
sir?
number 5 is just like the feeling of opening day, even though I wasn't there. I was so excited yesterday waking up knowing that there was going to be a ton of baseball on. I was going to get my fantasy lineup set. I was going to lose a bunch of money on FanDuel yesterday. I was going to do all of that yesterday.
And
I was
you
very
did lose
excited.
money.
I did. I chose the wrong guys throughout the entire lineup that I put together, but I'm just excited that
Who
baseball's
ended up
back.
closer on their opening day lineup, too, by the way? Because Chris
I
and
think
I
it
were
was
pretty
close.
close.
I think we'd have to call it a tie because I had Diaz in instead of Maldonado, but you had
Toddy at leadoff.
Toddy at leadoff. I think was one
You
of your
also
big
had
gets.
you had Jackson at 5th, though. I had him 4th. So
Yeah.
we probably did.
We
probably
were pretty
did have
close.
a tie there.
Between
yeah.
the two of us, we got the exact lineup, but you just had to look really hard. My number 5 favorite thing was Brandon Lockridge in his first opening day saving the game. If he doesn't catch that fly ball in left field, I believe it's into the seats, and I believe it's now 7-3 Atlanta, and I think it might be game over. Jackson Merrill's right behind him for the catch he made the next inning. And I thought it was really funny that Hideki Matsui, and I always call him Hideki Matsui. I did it yesterday. Yuki Matsui.
Just start calling him Matsui.
I know. I'm going to just call him Matsui.
You can't get that one wrong.
I know. Matsui had a spotless inning and 2/3. He faced 5 batters. He gave up 2 home runs, but neither of them left the ballpark. So it was a good day for Matsui. He survived it nicely.
Number 4.
All right, Tony, number 4.
I didn't think that ball was going over.
You didn't think it was?
I
Okay.
thought he was short. That's why he didn't get a star. He had the guy that had time.
Oh, you didn't
to go
even give a
over
star? Okay, fair
Nah,
enough.
I
It was
held
a
out on that
relatively easy catch, but I thought his glove was up above
Yeah,
the fence.
depth perception is a little weird.
I will
weird,
say the number 4th best thing I saw yesterday was the standing ovation for Jurickson Profar.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was awesome. Not only in the time that he ran out for starting lineups, but his first time to the plate. And typical Jurickson yesterday, just
Did he milk it a little?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pitch at bats, like consistently. It's like, we've seen this one before.
Yeah, that was good. All right, Scrape.
My number 4 is going to be, there's so many things. Let's just go with the amazing day that Fernando Tatis Jr. had. Okay. I don't know why I screamed that. I was just very excited yesterday to see Fernando go 3 for 4. He actually got robbed of a home run as well because Tony, how much further up did that ball need to be for it to go out instead of hit the top of the
wall? He
wall?
didn't get robbed of a home run.
He got robbed.
Hit the ball off the wall.
Yes.
He got robbed.
He didn't actually
Should
hit
we have
the
knocked
ball
the wall down for him as the ball was coming?
Yeah. Yeah.
He needed about a foot and a half.
That thing was a rocket.
Oh, man,
anyway, Fernando's day yesterday was
day.
incredible.
Yeah,
so.
people were saying MVP before the season. Now
he
they're
stole
really
third
saying
twice.
Now they're really saying it. My number 4 has to do with
Tony is pointing to
what
himself,
you just said. The Padres making life miserable on a poor young catcher playing in his first major league game. To steal 5 bases. I told Scraby yesterday, poor Drake Baldwin. He's going to be able to tell everybody at his 20th and 30th high school reunions that in his first game he coughed up 5 steals. But it wasn't entirely his fault. Chris
None
Sale,
of it was his fault.
Right, okay. Chris Sale and those guys were doing a terrible job of holding runners, and Toddy and Manny were getting running jumps to third base. One of the steals was just they gave it to Manny on a first and third situation. So you're right, Tony. But I like the fact that the Padres recognized it was his first game. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. They were, uber aggressive, and at this pace, the Padres are on their way to 800 stolen bases this year.
I will only say that Chris is 100% right, except in the fact that it wasn't Baldwin that they were picking on. It was Chris Sale and that staff. Because I don't know if you guys know, every single throw he made, if
it was a pretty good throw,
if they didn't have great jumps, they would have all been out because he was throwing the ball right on the bag.
Good point. Good point.
So where we at? Where we at? Number 3. Number 3 of the 5 things that I saw is that seemingly all the guys that were made the roster late had an impact in yesterday's game. Ben Sheets. I keep calling
See, you're doing the Sheets. You do it with him. See?
Gavin came up, hit the homer. You had J-Hay come in, pinch run. He's able to get a bag, or he's able to come in and score later on. You just seem like all of the picks that even Alec Jacob coming in and being able to give some innings. I just thought all those guys factored in, and it's really kind of it points out that this staff and front office got a good gauge on what they need and when they need it. It's not that these guys are going to be here all year and being able to contribute, but when guys get called up, especially in the last year, and been asked to do a job, even somebody like Mason McCoy, who came up kind of in emergency last year, came in, played his role, helped kind of keep the thing together until it got healthy again. It's going to be the same thing this year, and it was nice to see that those guys already in Game 1 are contributing.
My number 3 is going to be how the bullpen picked up Michael King, because we talked about the bullpen being somewhat of a maybe question mark throughout all of the 6 weeks of us just saying things just to get through spring training. But it was nice to see that. And Michael King didn't have his best day, but bullpen came in, made it happen.
No hits allowed over the last 5+ innings for the bullpen. So
thank you for adding to my.
You're welcome.
I was not about to add that. So
he needed some help there.
Yeah, my number 3 was Jurickson's standing ovation. I loved it. I thought about what kind of reaction he would get. I thought he would get applause. I did not expect a standing ovation, and I thought it was a class move by the people here in San Diego to show appreciation for a guy that truly deserved it based on how he played last year. I also loved his 12-pitch at bat in the 4th inning, which I believe led to Austin Riley's home run on the very first pitch of the next at bat. I think
it did, for sure.
Okay, so you agree
all of
with
that,
me?
Everything that happened after that.
Because Alec Jacob, it's only natural if you get a guy out in a 12-pitch at bat, you relax for a second, and then the next pitch got hit out. Jurickson helps his team win in a lot of ways, and he showed it yesterday. So I was really happy, and he deserved it.
Number 2.
Tony.
Is this me?
Yes, sir.
Number 2. My prediction that Toddy could win an MVP.
Got off to a good start.
Yeah.
Got off to a terrific start. And it was proof to me, because remember, he had to hit in the leadoff spot, which he's only done one time last year. He only did that once. And to do it in such a, I mean, it was almost like he'd been hitting there all the time. I mean, he did all the little things. He had 2 bags. I'm just excited to see this young man, do something at full health, because that's what it looked like yesterday. And it didn't look like he was trying too hard. It just looked like he was just in his backyard playing baseball. And it was a lot of fun to watch.
I don't know. He's 26, Tony. He's getting up there. All right, Scrape.
My number 2 is going to be Jackson Merrill, because he's on my fantasy team. He picked up the first couple runs of the season.
It didn't even take it took one game for him to drop that in there already.
I've dropped it like 17 times at this point.
By the way, can we just put a moratorium on mentioning your fantasy team this year?
Can't happen. Sorry.
It
just is an instinct for me to say that. But I actually, you know when we used to talk about Fernando being the guy you would stay in front of the TV to watch? I was in the car yesterday listening to Tony and Jesse when his first at-bat happened, and I was like, I'm not getting up. I want to see what happens with Jack. He's a wait in the car guy now.
Yeah, he is. That's a good call.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I think he became that guy in Pittsburgh last year, where it was like every night he was doing something.
Yeah, what was it? 5 games in a row or something at a
Yeah,
tying
it was
home
something
run
ridiculous.
in the 8th inning. It was unbelievable. And you know what? Orsillo and Mudcat said exactly what needed to be said when he came up yesterday, which was should have been the Rookie of the Year. I know we could argue till the cows come home. Should have been the Rookie of the Year.
Did you guys see the sign that was off of the freeway that said "Home of Merrill Mania, the real National League Rookie of the Year"? Someone put that up, and I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't want to take it away from Skeens, but
I do.
I know you do. Number 2 for me was Gavin Sheets' home run. When he came up, the first thought I had is, he's not going to hit a home run here. I mean, you're really rooting for something impossible to happen. You're leading him off to tie the game in the 7th inning. He hit 6 home runs in the spring. There's no way in this one moment, and then bang, he hit it. So that was a pretty memorable moment already for opening day.
Number one on my list is the continuity that it's going to take offensively to do what they did last year was on display once again for the Padres.
Stringing it together, huh?
Stringing it together. And they did it in new ways this year. I mean, we saw it a lot during spring, and I don't know if you weren't watching those games, it wouldn't be something that you pick on, but balls in the dirt was something that these dudes excelled at in spring training. And to see it put on display in a real game and see the type of impact it can have when you have those plays on top of good at bats. And listen, that was with Jurickson on the other side. Like Jurickson was usually right in the middle of that, doing the 10, 11, 12 pitch at bats. Without him, again, a huge piece, they were still able to replicate that type of offense. They put up, 7 runs?
10 hits.
10 hits.
And they hit well with runners in scoring position, which
against
is nice.
A good Atlanta Braves ball club. So that's the number one number one thing I saw yesterday in terms of just keeping it rolling, keeping that offense going, and it's a well-oiled machine. It looked like last night or yesterday.
My number one is a double. It's going to be number one is Jurickson Profar and his standing ovation from the fans. I thought that was awesome. The second thing is what the Padres did for Bryce Miller and honoring Bryce Miller yesterday. Like I was talking to someone about Bryce this morning, and it's very sad, but I'm glad that they did something to honor him. So.
Yeah.
I had the same number one, Scraby, so I'll piggyback on you. Bryce Miller was a really important part of this community, really important part of the sports community, and part of our show, and we're going to miss him terribly. And the Padres did a really class thing. They left his seat empty in the press box. They left flowers there in his honor, and I'm pretty sure everybody who saw it was touched, and I certainly was. It was a great way to start the season. So thumbs up to the Padres for that. Bryce, we will not forget.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. That is our countdown for today. How about you and I both coming up with the same number one and being like, you're not supposed to be like me and care about things like that. It's great. That's good. You're coming around.
It's true. You're
coming around.
But, I got to say, this Bryce thing hit me a little bit harder than I thought it was going to.
I couldn't agree with you more. All right, coming up next, we'll liven things back up with our Chris First the Fans, 833-288-0973. Trivia and a trip to Vegas on the line.